Really? Really? I can't believe what I just watched. And I'll be honest, I have some torn feelings about what I want to say about it. But overall, what I just watched in this game between the Dallas Cowboys and Denver Broncos, I can't believe what I just watched. So, on the one hand, you lose in the NFL. You lose games in the NFL. The best football players in the world competing against each other on any given Sunday. Blah, 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 blah. Cliche this, cliche that. Best football players in the world competing on every Sunday, a lot of whom get banged up as the week goes along. We're through what? 10 weeks now? We're in 10 weeks of the season. You know, on the Cowboys side, no Tyron Smith, no DeMarcus Lawrence, no Michael Gallup. On the Denver side, they're without their starting left tackle, right guard. Patrick Surtain went out at one point in the game. Tim Patrick went out at one point in the game. You know, you'll lose games in the NFL. It happens. You'll get upset. You'll fall into the trap. And so if you had told me that the Dallas Cowboys were going to lose this game, if you told me this week that the Cowboys were going to lose this game, after miraculously beating the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday with Cooper Rush at quarterback in Minnesota, if you had told me that the Cowboys were going to lose to the Denver Broncos with Dak under center, I would have been like, okay, it happens. Long season, 17 games. Would have been really, really disappointing, of course. Really disappointing. But you know what? It happens. Look at the Buffalo Bills and the Jaguars right now. The Jaguars just went up 9-6 on the Bills with Josh Allen. Under a minute left in the fourth quarter. So it happens. I remember a couple of years ago, the Atlanta Falcons went into New Orleans when the New Orleans Saints were just having one of their great seasons with Drew Brees in the twilight of his career. And the Atlanta Falcons just went up or west, I guess, to the Dome and just bullied the Saints, upsetting them, getting all over Drew Brees and coming out of there with, I think, a win by 2 scores. So that happens. But if you had told me that until garbage time, Dak would have completed under 50% of his passes, if you had told me that the Cowboys would not have scored a single point until when was Malik Turner's first touchdown? 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. If you had told me that Teddy Bridgewater, back up. If you had told me that the Cowboys were going to give up 190 yards rushing to a Denver Broncos team with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, who deserve credit for how they played today, but with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, the week that the Denver Broncos traded away Von Miller, and again, without 3 starting offensive linemen, if you had told me that this week, that is how the Dallas Cowboys were going to lose, unacceptable. That I would not have. I can't believe it. Unacceptable. Disgusting. If the Cowboys were going to go 5 for 13 on third downs, 0 for 4 on fourth downs, after what they did to the Minnesota Vikings last week, they caught whatever the Minnesota Vikings had where they could not convert on third downs. The Cowboys caught it. That Amari Cooper and Tony Pollard were going to drop passes that landed in their laps at key points in the game, that the Cowboys were going to block a punt. And the Cowboys were going to block a punt. But it would result in the Broncos keeping the ball. I don't know, man. Again, this came down to the fact that this game got as out of hand as it did. And don't get me wrong, I liked the way the defense was playing early on. I liked what I saw from two players specifically. Micah Parsons, 2.5 sacks on the afternoon. Let me confirm that. Yeah, 2.5 sacks for Micah Parsons. Jordan Lewis had a pretty good game. Made a couple of plays. Osa Odigizua all over the place. Carlos Watkins even blew through the middle for a sack. When the Cowboys turned the ball over on their first drive, turned the ball over on downs, and the Broncos went 3 and out, it was like, okay, well, all right. Well, now this is Cowboys still in the driver's seat. Cowboys moved the ball okay, and they just couldn't convert on fourth down. Tony Pollard, we forgot about how Tony Pollard started this game with a big return. With a massive return. That ended up going nowhere because the Cowboys turned the ball over on downs. But it's okay because, again, the Cowboys just pushed the Broncos back 10 yards. Broncos went 3 and out. Cowboys, again, moved the ball well on that drive. And again, don't get me wrong. I don't mind going for it on fourth down. I have no problem with going for it on fourth down. Score touchdowns, extend drives, keep the football. Don't give the other team the football, whether it's Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback or Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady. I don't care. Justin Herbert, keep the football. Go for it on fourth down. I don't have a problem with that. But bloody execute. Execute. Pick up 2 yards. Pick up 1 yard. You don't need to score touchdowns. Just pick up the yards you need to gain a first down. I'm stumped. Man. And the fact that now also, when all is said and done, you're leaving Dak in there when he's just coming off the calf strain. 3 weeks, his first game in 3 weeks, you're leaving him out there in a blowout. You're leaving Zeke out there in a blowout. Hopefully no injuries came up. Oh yeah, another big thing. Comes down to not converting on fourth downs. Like I said, 0 for 3, was it? Pull it back up here. On fourth down, going for it, 0 for 4. 5 for 13 on third downs. Drops by Pollard and Amari Cooper. Dak overthrowing CeeDee Lamb. But also Tyron Smith being out. Put Terrence Steele back to right tackle. Put Lyle Collins at left. Help them out a little bit. You know? We learned that the Cowboys, they can afford to lose Lyle Collins, but they still cannot afford to lose Tyron Smith. That's what we learned. I don't know if Ty Nseki's the answer. I think Lyle Collins at left tackle is the answer. That's maybe what it should have been. If you're not okay, if your logic is not playing Lyle Collins at left tackle because he has had more reps at right tackle in the last couple of years in the little football he's played than Terrence Steele, I don't know if I agree with that. I really don't agree with that. Lyle Collins is a better football player than Terrence Steele, is he not? As well, don't get me wrong. Terrence Steele has been phenomenal at right tackle filling in. But now we're talking filling the shoes of Tyron Smith, who made us completely take for granted how good he's been because we never hear about what's going on that left side of the offensive line because Tyron Smith is just mauling whoever's there in the run game and the pass game. Sorry, the window's open. But so to me, it's just. And then the punt block. Okay, so not to blame the rules or not to say last week you go for punt blocks. When you have Dak in the game, overall, don't block punts. Take the ball back. But then again, on a game like today, where you're shut out in the first half and have no points all game at this point in the third quarter, early on, and you have the chance to make a big play. They're backed up deep in their own territory. You have the chance to block a punt, and you do, right? But I guess just that play alone just summed up how the Cowboys' afternoon went today. Because to me, the rule of it's not the fact that you can't that the kicking team cannot recover the ball when it's being punted. It's not that's not the issue to me. The issue to me is because that's how muffed punts happen. That's how the kicking team can recover muffed punts if the punt is blocked beyond the line of scrimmage. But also when you muff a punt, when the return team muffs a punt and the kicking team recovers, that ball 99.9999999% of the time is beyond the first down marker. But when the punt was blocked by Malik Turner, I think it was Nashawn Wright who touched it and recovered by Denver, and they advance the ball but don't get a first down, and Denver gets to keep the ball and get a first down even though they didn't advance it past the first down marker. That rule doesn't make sense to me. That rule doesn't make sense to me. But hey, you learn something new every day, I guess, especially in the NFL. All the rules. That was the Bryce Butler rule a couple of years ago in the playoff game against Green Bay. Haven't heard of that rule since. But yeah. Look, the biggest in the big picture, Arizona right now is going to play without Kyler Murray. Green Bay is going to play without Aaron Rodgers against the Kansas City Chiefs. But Tampa Bay Bucks are pretty comfortably ahead. They're on bye this week. They're on a bye. And they get to play at Washington next week. Who else do they have? The Bucks. They have at Washington, Giants, great. At the Colts, great. Falcons. Bills will be tough. Saints, who knows, to be honest. Panthers, Jets, Panthers. So all this to say, and the Cowboys, they have a pretty easy schedule too. At least we thought it was an easy schedule because, again, not every game can be taken for granted. Denver today, Atlanta, the struggling Chiefs, the Raiders who lost to the Giants today, the Saints, which again, who knows, at New Orleans, you never know. Washington, Giants, Washington, Cardinals will be a legit game, and Eagles. So the Cowboys, all this to say, had a chance to put a stranglehold for the number one seed. Their only challenge, had the Cowboys won today, obviously still a long season ahead, still a lot of football to be played, but had the Cowboys won today, at least right now, their only challenge for the number one seed would have been the Rams in the short term. But the Cowboys decided our sixth-round picks are more important than trading for Melvin Ingram or trading for Stephon Gilmore or trading, not to say they should have done the Von Miller trade, not to say they should have given up a second and third-round pick for a guy that might only play 9 games for you. But injuries happen. You saw today again, Amari Cooper injured, banged up, plays every game despite being banged up. CeeDee Lamb sprained his ankle. Michael Gallup not back yet. Tyron Smith injured, missed today. DeMarcus Lawrence not back yet. Trayvon Diggs struggled today, played his worst game of the season, giving up over 150 yards rushing. You're telling me that, yeah, sure, you're 6-1, but you're telling me that over the course of a long season, that giving up a 6th-round pick, heck, even 2 6th-round picks, and maybe even a 5th-round pick for more reinforcements at the deadline to put you over the top and increase your chances of winning this season and winning and having the Super Bowl come through AT&T Stadium and potentially go and just increase your chances of winning the Super Bowl this year. You're telling me that you couldn't have given up 6th-round picks for that? I really hope it won't be a mistake in the long term. But again, flush this game down the toilet. Forget about it. Just go ahead and beat Atlanta. Go and beat Kansas City. Go and beat Vegas. Beat New Orleans. Beat Washington. Beat the Giants. Beat Washington. Beat Arizona. Beat Philly. And finish the season 15-2. and everything will be forgotten, I guess. But in all seriousness, first, move on from this, beat Atlanta, take it one game at a time. But this was the mistake game for the Cowboys in the grand scheme of things. But again, just the way they lost. I still can't believe the way they lost today. I can't believe it. But now, no more mistake games. You cannot afford any more mistake games. I don't care how bad the NFC East is. I don't care about winning the division. I care about winning the Super Bowl. And the Cowboys have a legit chance to win the Super Bowl this year. And this loss, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, obviously they have to win the playoff games or whatever. But winning this game and winning whatever many games they have to win throughout from here on out. And you could also say, to be fair, if you had told me that the Cowboys would lose on the road in Minnesota with Cooper Rush, but win this game and have the same record at 6-2, even though the loss to an NFC opponent would affect them more in the standings, I feel like we'd be okay with that more. We'd be more accepting of that than beating Minnesota and losing at home with Dak back to Denver, who just traded away Von Miller and is out 3 offensive linemen. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm just rambling at this point, but still, I feel like we would have been okay with that. But ultimately, again, Cowboys cannot afford any more mistakes. And now, if they're going to have a top seed in the NFC, because again, if they're that number 4 seed and have to play LA or Arizona, that's not going to be easy by any means. Like, that's not ideal by any means. So, yeah, they got to take care of their business from here on out. But today was embarrassing. And I hope it's the last embarrassing moment for the season. And we'll wrap it up here. Thank you for watching this Liger at the Mike Cowboys post-game show. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike Langer for all 3. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Go Cowboys. Hope they don't suck.